your homie just got killed. I was like, what you mean? Who? She was like, Vaughn.
So what's moving the streets of hip-hop lately? There's been some quite recent news that we haven't scratched yet, but we would very much like to, and it has to do with two of the most well-known rappers in the industry right now, Lil Reese and NBA Youngboy. What's up with the two, you ask? Well, it seems that Lil Reese has had enough of all the beef and games that NBA Youngboy's been playing. So what did Reese reveal about NBA Youngboy? The whole issue sparked by Youngboy back in January 21st of 2022. That's the exact date that Youngboy released his latest mixtape called Colors. On his track Bring the Hook, he had to say a little bit about folks that Lil Reese had affiliated with. And who did NBA Youngboy diss on that track? He actually dissed King Von, who passed away in front of Hookah Place in Atlanta on November 6, 2020. In the second verse of the song, he had a couple of lines that reference his death. He says, "This that Squid Game, O-Block pack get rolled up. What they told us, Atlanta boy get fold up." The O-Block part actually refers to King Von's third album called Welcome to O-Block that was released after King Von died, and Atlanta boy kind of explains itself. But that wasn't the end of it diss, far from it. A couple of lines later he said, "Inside the freezer where them people put him for they stitch his ass." Here he references photos of King Von's body during the autopsy, but it seems that it still wasn't enough for him. He then said, "He prayed to the devil, then he prayed to God." This sentence may be interpreted as a diss to King Von too. In the album we mentioned earlier, King Von had a song called Demon. That's perhaps why NBA Youngboy said he prayed to the devil. That's some hard stuff coming from Youngboy right there. Fans were quick to notice it too. One of the fans commented, "Sheesh, you just gonna diss them boys like that?" One of the fans thought that this diss was gonna be even more public than intended. He commented, "Got the whole industry mad with this one." Dissing dead homies is bound to get people mad. And it sure got a whole lot of people in the industry mad with everyone chiming in with their opinions. Lil Reese was one of them. Lil Reese himself felt the diss as well, since NBA Youngboy said O-Block pack and Reese is from O-Block too. The block that went down in history is probably the most dangerous place in the city of Chicago. Lil Durk was involved too, since he is closely connected to the circles that King Von had ties with. Lil Durk was quite furious with having to deal with such attacks on his dead homie. On his Instagram account, he had something to say about it. He posted a story sitting on a couch alongside of King Von portrait. In the caption he wrote, "Don't claim it if you ain't do it, you still a bitch." Lil Durk obviously thinks that NBA Youngboy is still nowhere near having enough clout to mess with the big boys. He believes that NBA Youngboy went way over the line with his hate-driven comments. What's all this mean for Lil Reese on the other hand? This is where things get a little bit more complicated. To kick it off, he certainly wasted no words with replying to DJ Academic's tweet. Commenting on NBA Youngboy's upcoming album, DJ Academics tweeted, "NBA Youngboy on Demon Time right now, sheesh." And he dropping a whole Tap Friday. Lil Reese wasn't too convinced that NBA Youngboy really is on Demon Time at all. He calmly replied to Academics on Twitter saying, "That ain't no demon time, he just rapping like the rest of these rappers all rap." What Lil Reese meant to say with this comment is that NBA Youngboy isn't really getting anywhere with his music. All that he's doing is writing songs and rapping the same way that the majority of other rappers do, all bark and no bite. Now, during his interview for Vlad TV, there was more talk about this Twitter discussion between Academics and Lil Reese. Vlad TV brought up the whole topic of Reese's tweet. Vlad TV had the following question for him. He asked him,
"You know, you, Durk, you know, King Von and everything else like that. The fact that Youngboy isn't even really affiliated with Chicago."
Now, Lil Reese took a few minutes to think about his reply. It seemed like he really thought it through. Then all of a sudden, Lil Reese replied,
"See, it is what it is."
How is it? Simple and straightforward, you might think. Or is it maybe too simple? This might not be the end of it completely. What if we're missing something here? If you just follow for Vlad's next question, you might be able to see why. Vlad TV then asks him,
"If Youngboy ever reached out to you and said, 'Listen, I want me and you to just help squash all this shit. Like, fuck all the bullshit that's happened. Let's just try to move past it.'"
To which almost immediately, Lil Reese said,
"Yeah, I do it."
But his words weren't the most important thing. What kind of gave him away was his reaction. After he said that he would do it, he had a tiny smile on his face, and that was more than enough to convince the audience that his words weren't the only important thing in his reply. One fan who wasn't convinced by all of Reese's words commented, "The fact Vlad actually thought Reese was being serious got me dead." Another one said, "The way he said, 'Yeah, I'll do it,' with a slight grin, you can tell he would be with the shits if that moment arrived." Perhaps the fans was right with this one. But what seems to be very clear from the whole video is that Reese is pretty different now. It seems that a lot of stuff happened in the past. All the loss, suffering, and pain that he went through really left a mark on him. From losing multiple dear friends, getting shot in the neck, suffering a complete voice change because of it, the list just goes on and on. There are plenty of strong reasons why one would believe that his words really were sincere and in no way ironic. One of his fans completely agrees with the observation. You could tell instantly that he's been through a lot of trauma in his life. God bless this man. I wish him nothing but success and happiness. Great interview. Someone else commented, "Those eyes speak a million words worth of pain. Salute to this brother for still being able to survive. God giving this dude a chance. He needed to take that and better himself and the people that he chooses to keep around him." It's almost as if he's putting up a wall between him and anyone else who wants problems. He creates distance between himself and others. Reese makes it sound like he's no longer a part of that lifestyle, which is full of accusations, threats, beef, and so forth. Vlad TV, in a quite serious tone later in the interview, said,
Like selling a few more records ain't worth all these people getting lost.
These words really reflect how Lil Reese is feeling inside. He can't hide it in the interview either. It seems like it might be time to just let go of all of it. Move on to the next chapter of the book, so to speak. He really looks like he's completely over with NBA Youngboy and his claims, although we can't really say what would happen if he actually was to squash the beef with Youngboy like Vlad proposed they do. It just seems convincing that Lil Reese doesn't want to deal with anybody or anything for that matter. Maybe it's time to grow up and let the past be in the past. But what are y'all thoughts on the matter? Is the beef going to be squashed, or is there no way that this is going to end like that? Do you believe Lil Reese finally had enough of the gang stuff going on in his life? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you like this one, make sure to check this next one out.